So another thing we can do at home to preserve our foods, make things last a little bit longer and make them taste better, is we can cure. Salt, sugar curing is what we're going to do here. So in this bowl I've got sea salt. I actually have some saltpeter at home, which is this stuff. It's preservative. It keeps the colour better, but you have to use it in very small amounts. And if you don't have it, it's no real drama. The salt is going to cure. It's going to kill the sort of bugs that you don't want. Just if if you're doing this sort of professionally, you tend to just put a little spoon of that in there to keep the colour in the meat. So at this point, the two things we're going to do. I've got some pork belly. Pork belly is something that you might be able to come across a little bit easier because it's not in such high demand. I imagine when you go to supermarkets, there are certain things that everyone's going to go for, and there are other things that people may not necessarily go for quite as fast. So pork belly, we're going to do a slow cooked pork belly recipe as well because we've got another slab of this. But we're going to do a cured pork belly, and what this is effectively, you can probably recognise these stripes here. When you buy this cured, you're buying bacon. So effectively, we're going to make some homemade bacon. I'm going to add like a nice dried spice mix. Like I've got here, I've got some dried spices that I've added. When we were doing our carbonara, and we realised that we were aware we didn't have the right kind of pork for carbonara, so we made it with some smoky bacon and a bit of garlic. So we thought we're going to cure a kind of garlic flavoured spiced piece of pork belly. If you don't put the garlic and spices on there, then you're making bacon. So just put the sugar on and follow all the steps without adding spices later. So what you're going to need to do is the salt is here, and I'm going to add some sugar into the salt. Make salt sugar cure. I just find that whenever you cure things with just salt, you can taste that it's just been done with salt. And when you add a bit of sugar, a little bit of that sweetness goes in, and it kind of just makes those things a tiny bit less salty when you get to the finished product. So that's it's a few spoons of sugar and a generous amount of salt because you want to get every single surface covered, and you're going to sterilize the meat from the outside, and then we're going to hang it and dry it, and I'm going to show you how to make a drying box with a few things that you've probably got at home. So here we have our pork. It's going to be my meat hand, and it's going to be my clean hand. So we're going to go onto that with this salt and sugar cure. Get that again on all sides, and we're trying. Normally you just take half a kilo of salt and just chuck it all over this thing, but we're trying to be very measured with what we're using and especially what we're wasting, because after you've covered something in meat juices, you're not going to be able to use it again. So we're just going to try and salt this off. That's got a pretty good coating. You see I've got a clean hand, I've got a meat hand. This is my meat hand. It's getting salt all the way down there. That's got a pretty good layer of salt all over it. And as well, the salt's going to draw liquid out of this pork, so it's going to sweat. And we're going to put it into this little bowl here. It's going to be quite packed into. That's quite a small bowl. It's going to lay it in there, and then I'm going to take my knife handle with my clean hand, sweep up the rest of this salt. And I'm just going to put that in there. Let's get all the salt, not waste anything here. And that's all going to go in. And that's going to sweat, it's going to make a brine. And over the next 12 hours, I'm going to turn it 1, 2, 3, 4 times each side. So each side gets really, really into the brine. And so you're going to get every surface covered with your salt or with your brine. And that way you're going to sterilise it. We're also going to do cured duck breast. You may have a duck breast, you may not. We had our guests for this week cancelled. We had already shopped for quite a few bits, so we had a fair amount of this stuff to use up. But you can do this with any meat. I have done it with chicken before, but it kind of lends itself better to pork, duck, beef, even lamb. I'm still going to score it a bit. Let the salt in. You always kind of score duck fat, let it out. And then again, gonna take my sugar cure, salt sugar cure, onto the duck. That's that side, this side. Yeah, I'm really trying to avoid getting to a point where I've used all my salt and having to go to the shops. We're really just trying to avoid any trips to the shops. And this is going to like preserve this meat, and it will keep for weeks once you've done this. I mean, you see a traditional recipe, they might say actually just wrap this, once this is cured, you can wrap it in a tea towel and chuck it in the back of your fridge. But you can really easily make a drying box which will dry and preserve your meat. You know, this is where like jerky and biltong come from. Like people would just preserve meats and take them, throw them in a bag, and that would just keep at room temperature. It would keep almost indefinitely. It would just get harder as it went. So that is stage one. You want to cure your meat. And you're trying to eliminate bugs, so that when you hang this, because you're going to hang it at room temperature as well, and you're going to want that to not have anything living on it, it's going to make it spoil. So salt, sugar cure, and that's stage one of how to cure meat at home.